Welcome to Women Tennis USA. I am Mary Carillo. Tonight, we turn our attention to a performance that has rippled through the sport with a force few anticipated, a moment that redefined expectations and recalibrated how the tennis world views one of its brightest young stars. Nobody expected this from Coco Gauff, including the woman standing across the net from her. What unfolded was not just a win or a loss, not simply a scoreline to be filed away in the records, but a statement layered with maturity, intelligence, and a competitive fire that spoke louder than any ranking ever could. Coco Gauff has been living under a microscope since her earliest days on the professional tour. From the moment she burst onto the global stage as a teenager with fearless shotmaking and an unshakable poise, expectations wrapped themselves tightly around her career. Every match seemed to carry an added weight, every setback magnified, every victory scrutinized for what it might mean for the future. Yet what we witnessed in this match was not the Coco Gauff of promise or potential. This was the Coco Gauff of presence, fully formed, commanding the moment with a clarity that caught even her opponent off guard. From the opening games, there was an unmistakable sense that something had shifted. Gauff's body language was calm, measured, and deliberate. There was no rush, no visible anxiety, none of the nervous energy that can sometimes accompany high-stakes encounters. Instead, she moved with purpose, each step signaling a player who understood not just what she wanted to do, but how to do it. Her opponent, experienced and tactically astute, came in with a clear game plan, one that on paper made sense. Pressure the forehand, test the serve, draw the rallies long, and wait for the young American to blink. The blink never came. What surprised everyone, including the opponent, was how quickly Gauff adapted. Early exchanges suggested a feeling-out process, but within moments, she began to assert control in ways that felt almost surgical. Her shot selection was disciplined, her court positioning intelligent. She didn't go for unnecessary winners, and she refused to be drawn into patterns that didn't serve her interests. This was tennis played with intention, and it signaled a leap forward in her tactical evolution. One of the most striking elements of the performance was her serve. Long considered a work in progress, it became a weapon not just in terms of pace, but placement. Gauff mixed her spots with precision, using wide serves to open the court and body serves to jam her opponent at crucial moments. The second serve, often a target for aggressive returners, held firm under pressure. There were no tentative motions, no giveaways. Each delivery carried confidence, and with it, the message that free points would be hard to come by. As rallies extended, another dimension of her game came into sharp focus. Gauff's defense has always been elite, but here it transformed into offense with remarkable consistency. She absorbed pace, redirected angles, and turned seemingly lost points into opportunities. Her opponent, accustomed to breaking down resistance through sustained pressure, found herself forced into riskier shots, trying to end points prematurely. That frustration began to show, not in overt displays, but in the subtle tightening of strokes and the accumulation of unforced errors. What truly set this performance apart, however, was Gauff's mental clarity. Tennis at the highest level is as much a psychological battle as it is a physical one, and in this arena, Gauff stood tall. She managed momentum shifts with composure, refusing to dwell on missed chances or celebrate too early. After losing a tightly contested game, she reset instantly. After winning a long rally, she walked back to the baseline with the same calm expression. This emotional balance created a sense of inevitability, a feeling that she was in control regardless of the score. Her opponent sensed it too. Post-match reactions often reveal more than words spoken at the net, and the body language told a story of surprise mixed with respect. This was not the player she had prepared for, not the version she had seen on tape. This Coco Gauff was more patient, more precise, and more resilient than expected. She neutralized strengths, exposed weaknesses, and did so without drama, as if this level of performance was simply the natural next step. The crowd, initially buzzing with curiosity, gradually shifted into something closer to awe. There is a particular sound that emerges when spectators realize they are witnessing a breakthrough moment, a collective intake of breath followed by sustained attention. Every point mattered, not just because of the score, but because of what it represented. This was a young athlete demonstrating that she had learned from every experience, every loss, every hard lesson the tour had thrown her way. It's important to understand the context that makes this performance so significant. Gauff has navigated a career path that few can truly comprehend. Rising to prominence at such a young age brings with it a unique set of challenges. The physical demands are relentless, the travel unforgiving, and the mental toll immense. Add to that the expectations of a nation eager for its next champion, and the pressure can be overwhelming. Yet in this match, there was no sign of that weight. Instead, there was freedom in her movement and clarity in her decisions. This was not about flashy shot-making or highlight reel moments. It was about constructing points with patience, choosing the right moments to attack, and trusting her training. Gauff's backhand, long a reliable anchor, held steady in cross-court exchanges and opened the line when needed. Her forehand, once scrutinized for inconsistency, showed improved timing and margin. She wasn't trying to overpower her opponent, she was outthinking her. As the match progressed, the tactical superiority became more pronounced. Gauff adjusted her return position, stepping in to take time away when she sensed vulnerability, then dropping back to absorb power when necessary. She varied her spins, mixing in higher, heavier balls to disrupt rhythm, then flattening out shots to change pace. These are the choices of a seasoned competitor, not a player still learning on the job. The opponent attempted to shift strategies, coming to the net more frequently, trying to shorten points and seize momentum. Gauff anticipated these moves with remarkable awareness. Her passing shots were not reckless, they were measured, often forcing volleys that were difficult to control. When the chance arose, she passed cleanly. When it didn't, she reset the rally without panic. This refusal to overextend herself frustrated every attempt to wrest control away. Perhaps the most telling moment came during a critical stretch when the score tightened and the pressure mounted. This is where many matches swing, where nerves can betray even the most talented players. Gauff responded by raising her level. She served with authority, returned with intent, and maintained her focus point after point. There was no sense of urgency born of fear, only the quiet determination of a player confident in her process. From the analyst's chair, this was a performance that spoke volumes about growth. Talent has never been in question with Coco Gauff. What has been evolving, and what shone so brightly here, is her ability to harness that talent within a disciplined framework. She is learning when to be aggressive and when to be patient, when to push and when to absorb. These decisions, made in fractions of a second, are the difference between potential and realization. The implications extend beyond a single match. Performances like this alter how opponents prepare. They force coaches to rethink strategies and compel players to confront new realities. Gauff is no longer just a fast, athletic competitor with a strong backhand and a big future. She is a tactician, a problem solver, and a competitor who can impose her will in multiple ways. In the aftermath, conversations around the tennis world reflected a shared sense of surprise. Not because Gauff won, but because of how she won. The maturity on display challenged assumptions about where she is in her development. It suggested that the lessons learned from previous heartbreaks, from matches that slipped away or opportunities missed, have been absorbed and applied. For American tennis, this moment carries particular resonance. The legacy of champions looms large, and comparisons are inevitable. Yet what stood out here was not an attempt to emulate anyone else, but the emergence of a distinct identity. Gauff's game is becoming uniquely her own, shaped by her strengths, informed by her experiences, and guided by a growing confidence in her instincts. There is also an important human element to consider. Behind the statistics and analysis is a young woman navigating her own journey. The composure she showed under pressure reflects not just athletic development, but personal growth. Handling expectations, criticism, and praise with balance is no small feat, and it was evident in the way she carried herself from first ball to last. Her opponent, to her credit, acknowledged the challenge presented. Facing an adversary who adapts so effectively, who refuses to yield mentally, can be disorienting. This match demanded constant adjustment, and even then, solutions were hard to find. That is the mark of a truly commanding performance. As the final points were played, there was a sense of culmination, not just of a match, but of a chapter. Gauff closed it out with the same calm assurance that defined her entire outing. No theatrics, no visible release of tension, just a quiet acknowledgement of a job well done. It was a finish befitting the tone she had set from the beginning. Looking ahead, this performance serves as both a benchmark and a warning. For Gauff, it establishes a standard she will aim to replicate and surpass. For her rivals, it signals that the margin for error has narrowed. She is no longer a player you can wait out or outlast. She is a competitor who will challenge you mentally, tactically, and physically from start to finish. In the broader narrative of women's tennis, moments like these are pivotal. They signal transitions, the rise of new forces, and the evolution of the game itself. Gauff's blend of athleticism and intellect reflects the modern demands of the sport, where adaptability and resilience are as crucial as power and speed. As we reflect on this match, it becomes clear why it resonated so deeply. It wasn't about shock value or spectacle. It was about substance. Nobody expected this particular expression of Coco Gauff's game, this level of control and sophistication, especially not her opponent. And yet, in hindsight, it feels like an inevitable step in a journey defined by continuous growth. This is how champions are forged, not in a single moment, but through performances that reveal layers previously unseen. Coco Gauff showed us a new layer, one built on patience, strategy, and unwavering belief. It is a reminder that development is not always linear, and that breakthroughs often arrive quietly, wrapped in discipline rather than drama. As the season continues, this match will be remembered not just as a win, but as a turning point. A moment when expectations were not just met, but reshaped. For Coco Gauff, for her opponents, and for everyone watching, it offered a glimpse of what is possible when talent meets preparation and confidence meets composure. This is Mary Carillo for Women Tennis USA, bringing you the story behind the score, and the performance nobody expected, but everyone will remember.